So here's a channel update. All I want to do is work on cool stuff, like this 1997 Camaro SS that I've been restoring, or on this 1966 Mustang that hasn't ran in 49 years. And of course, this all original 1972 C10 is what was next on the list, with a special mystery box in the back. But even though all that fun stuff's still on the list and it will be coming up, we have to address some of the not so fun stuff. This is my 05 Silverado, and it's mainly my winter truck. It has 400,000 original miles on this engine. And after the last 4 or 5 years, it started to develop a lifter squeak at startup. And by a squeak, not a tick, not a chatter, a squeak. Well, after the starter went out, and this thing sat for several months, I put a starter in it and put a new transmission cooler line on it, got it fired up, and well, that sticky roller finally stopped. And I'd love to say that I'd just buy another motor and slap it in, but the funny story is I bought this truck for next to nothing because someone replaced the engine just because it was high mileage and that motor they put it in had 0 oil pressure. So when I got the truck, I pulled that motor out and put the original that had 360,000 miles on it back in at the time. Now the truck has just over 400,000 miles on it and the frame is super solid. The body, not so much. So we gotta save it and keep it going. But even though I'd rather be doing all that, sometimes you just gotta do things you don't want. You know what they say about things that you don't want to do? You gotta approach them with a negative attitude, that way you can get the bad results you want. Or something like that. I think it's actually the opposite. Can't forget about these fuel lines. Or fuel line. Oh yeah, we'll make sure we spread fuel all over the place. Okay, let's see if the intake can come off. Nope. Yep. Let's see if we can't fish this passenger side exhaust out of here. There's one. Time for the valve covers. There's a 1. There's 2. How about a water pump next? There's that mess we were looking for. So I want to get this head off here tonight. Oh. Now let's pull these lifters out. Okay. So I'll pull all these out real quick and I'll be back to review. We might be in for a hunt here because all the lifters on this side were good and quiet, and from what I can see, even on the other side, the cam lobes look good. So I'm trying to think what would make a rotational squeak that's down deep inside the motor that's quite like that. And it always gets different with RPM. We're still going to pull the other side. I mean, we're here. We're not going to look back because I really feel like it's a lifter. All the lights are charged up. It's a new day. So we're just going to go ahead and pull this head off and hopefully we'll find something on this side. So I'm going to roll them and see if I can make any of them squeak. Alrighty. Well, none of these squeak. And I've even put quite a bit of down pressure on just to see if I could make them squeak. And I got nothing. I'm this far. I'm still going to pull the cam out. I'm still going to swap the lifters out. By chance that one of these was doing it and I just can't get it to do it out on the bench. But I'm not too optimistic. I don't know. This is kind of a mystery. I guess let's pull the camshaft out. This is disappointing. No worn cam lobes. It just looks good. Man. I think we might have done all this work for nothing. I hope not. Here's where we are. I am 99% sure I'm gonna have to pull the motor out of this. I'm not happy about it, but I think it's gonna be the best option. I'm already almost there. What I think I have going on is I think the cam bearings are so wore, and my theory of one of the cam bearings spinning in its bore is probably right. It's kind of hard to see, but you can tell that this cam bearing is really beat to hell. And we get into this next one, you can see it is just straight down to the copper. There's nothing left of silver. It's just pure copper. And from what I can see looking back in, it only gets worse. I am not gonna freshen it. The thing carries great oil pressure. It runs amazing. It doesn't smoke. So my plan is just to re-gasket it because that valley cover was leaking terribly, and put a timing chain in it, cam bearings, and put it back in. Unfortunately, I went through all the cam bearings and none of them were spun, some of them were pretty wore. But after I pulled it apart, the cylinders weren't that bad. There's no ridge. They still have cross hatching in it from being honed from the factory. I pulled a cap on a rod bearing and it actually looked really good. I took it outside, covered all this the best I could, and then power washed all the grease off of it. I had the parts washer going like crazy, getting the cylinder heads and all the tins cleaned up. I think you call them tins, and they're all aluminum now, but same difference. Right now we need to finish the DCR up on this, and that's not dynamic compression ratio. That's actually the cubic color rebuild. And after we get this finished up, we'll put that rear main seal cover on, put the camshaft in it, and a new timing set. Got my cover all cleaned up. Now I'm just putting the bolts in it to get started. Gaskets behind it, of course, and then we'll stick an alignment tool in here and line it up. Get this alignment tool in there. What this does, it just centers that cover over that crankshaft for the rear main seal to be perfectly concentric with it. I've seen a lot of people just be very careful and let the seal kind of center itself, but these things aren't very expensive and I'd rather just get it right. Back on the engine stand we go. Now, if you were thinking this truck was going to get a new cam, no way. This cam actually came out of a low mileage 5.3, I think it had like 60,000 miles on it, that I picked up for my Chevelle. The other question you might be asking is, why are you putting this work in a 400,000 mile engine? And the answer to that is, the engine looks good inside of it. The truck itself, I don't have a whole lot of money in. I paid $1,500 for the truck, and the frame's good. It has a remanufactured transmission in it. And last but not least, I've been driving this thing for the last 4 years, and it's been great. The reality is, I would never recommend to go buy a high mileage truck that you know nothing about, pull the engine out, do all this stuff in it, and throw it back in, because chances are it's not going to work out that great. But for me, knowing what I have for a truck, this just makes sense to fix it. A lot of times when you give this old stuff this much love, it never runs right again. Throw the crank sprocket in the oven, and we'll throw that on and get the timing set on there. Woo, buddy, that was hot. There we go. I've been rolling pretty good on this. I got all the timing cover and oil pan on, even put some shiny new engine mounts on that. Looks really nice. We know those won't fit very well, but I'm to the point where I'm putting lifters in it. So the stock lifters, they had some marks on the rollers, but nothing spectacular. And all I can think of is that there's some needle bearings going on in this, that when there's spring pressure on it, it's making it squeak. I'm not sure, it's a theory. But here in the shop, especially on this old truck, we're on a budget. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use some stock lifters out of a 1995 Trans Am that I pulled out when I put a cam in it. And these things are actually replaced or superseded by the LS7 lifters. And you can see the little bit of difference in it, but they do fit even though it's out of a traditional small block Chevy. And this is what we're gonna run. It's finally the weekend. It's been almost a week since I pulled the engine out of this pickup, and all through the week, I've just been trying to do little things to it to get it ready, so hopefully I can drop it in and have it running again this weekend. So since I have the heads off, I decided I want to put new valve seals in it, mainly because new valve seals came with a gasket kit that I bought for the truck, and at 400,000 miles, I'm sure I could use them. On these intake valves, the ones that I'm lapping in, I cleaned up the backside. Check out how much buildup was on the intake valves before cleaning them. Just all sorts of buildup on that. No matter what, when I have these things out, I almost always relap the exhaust valves in because they pit so bad on these trucks. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you can just see all this pitting right here on this seat. And you can also see on this exhaust valve, all the pits that are on it. This is what it looks like after I cleaned up those exhaust seats, and you can just see that there's not a whole lot of pitting on it anymore. And the exhaust valve itself is nice and clean. Now, I don't know if that's gonna help my performance a whole lot in this truck, and who cares? I'm here. I lapped them. I did my part. That's both exciting and really disappointing. I think I found the squeak. And, well, let's just say it was a lot simpler than everything we just did. I was cleaning the push rods, and just happened to be the second to last one, I found some differences. I'm gonna do my best to show this, but as I spin it here, but if you can see this line, and it really shows a lot of wear at the top of it, versus this one on the other end has a real nice shine to it, and it's even all the way across. If we put it in the rocker that it's in, listen to this. Flip around to the smooth edge, nothing. I think that, I'm gonna replace this rocker as well. I think I might replace all the rockers on that side since I have some here. But I think the entire time, it was this darn push rod. That is extremely disappointing. We just did all that work and I could have just put rockers and push rods on that side. Damn it. I guess this just goes to show why you clean everything and really inspect it really well. We just went through all that, lapped through the valves, and resealed it up, so I'm not gonna have any oil leaks. Fantastic. I've been making some solid progress today. You can see I got this head bolted on and torqued, and then takes on all the front accessories. Really at this point I have the exhaust left over, heater hoses, the radiator and fans. You might have noticed that I had the passenger side head off when I dropped it in, and that was really all preference. I didn't want to have to hang the transmission to be able to get the bell housing bolts, so leaving that cylinder head off let me get to all the bell housing bolts from above, and then I just tightened them down and then put the head on, torqued it. So that's the whole reason why I put it in kind of half assembled. And typically I wouldn't worry about reusing antifreeze, but to be honest with you guys, I got about $400 or $450 in chasing this noise. So I'm just trying to keep as budget oriented as I can be. I don't care how many times you've done this. These first startups are always nerve-wracking. Oh man, I'm sure hoping for the best. Got some lifter noise. We do got oil pressure. Right now we got a bunch of rocker noise, but it should change as everything gets pumped up. Good news is we had no squeak. I'm not sure why batteries always die at the most exciting parts. Last time I checked, I had 33%, and then I looked over and it was dead. Anyways, here's what we missed. Fired it up and it was running. It's getting quieter as it goes. It's kind of hard to hear, but they are getting quieter. Then it picked up a misfire. What it ended up being is I didn't have a plug wire snapped all the way on. Snapped it on, fired it up again. Here we go. My biggest thing I got going on right now is my brake booster has a leak. And it's not the booster itself, it's just the grommet. And I'm having troubles getting it positioned, so it stops leaking. And now I'm having troubles again. I had that thing snapped on and it's getting up to temp and suddenly it's misfiring again. I just don't know what's going on here. It fires up and it runs fine initially and it revs fine. Maybe it just needs driven. I do got to check engine light. Scanner's in the other building. I'm going to worry about that in the morning. Good news is it fires. It's getting quieter. That lifter noise is completely gone now. Now I just got to figure out the little bit of a misfire. I spoiled it. That's the problem. I gave it too much attention. A lot of times when you give this old stuff this much love, it never runs right again. Kind of did nothing this morning. Yesterday was a long day getting this thing going, and then after it started misfiring, I just needed a break from it. Anyways, came out, checked all of the injector wiring, all my grounds, made sure those were good. I did try the crank relearn with HP tuners. I've never been super successful with that, so I might take it to a buddy's shop and see if we can be more successful doing that at his shop. And oddly enough, it is only missing on the driver's side bank. I can actually unplug the entire banked coil packs on that side, and it doesn't even affect the idle. So I know the problem's on the driver's bank. It's kind of weird, it's on 4 cylinders. Maybe it just needs driven. This has got to be something with that crank relearn, because I'm out driving this thing and it runs and drives great. Yeah, this thing, if it steps down on it, and this thing runs phenomenal. Even though this isn't a hot rod build, this is what the average guy has, and you know, some of us, we can't afford a $60,000 plus truck. So fixing something up like this and making it run forever, I can get on board with that. Well, the good news is the mist went away. The bad news is I evidently didn't get a clip in for transmission line. Well, I'm sure glad we spent all that time cleaning up the engine bay. So all it was this clip. I'm hoping that I can get this transmission line back in here. I thought I had it all the way in, but clearly I did not. But the funny part is I knew exactly when I smelt that and heard that noise what it was, because last year I hit a deer in this thing, and I detailed the engine bay the exact same way. Bathed in transmission fluid later. At least it's high detergent. I should be super clean afterwards. Let's take this home and get some transmission fluid in it. At least hopefully it'll make it home. Sorry about the blurry picture. I got transmission fluid all over the lens and I can't seem to get it cleaned off. I need to get some fluid in this thing. Great news for the old truck. I figured it out. I went and did that crank relearn with a snap-on scan tool, and unfortunately it didn't fix it. But as we were looking at the data on it, I noticed out of the 402 sensors, the one that was showing that it was way lean on that side was the only one showing that. Although I wasn't throwing an 02 sensor code, I decided to change it. And this dang thing was the problem the entire time. So why it was dropping an entire bank was mainly because it was trying to pull that much fuel. So what happened is when you start it, that first few seconds or up to temp, it was an open loop. It wasn't accepting feedback for the oxygen sensors. Then as it ran and warmed up, it started accepting feedback from the oxygen sensors, and then it would drop that bank thinking that it could lean it out that much, making it run completely like garbage. If you shut it off and you started it back up again, it smoothed out because once again, it was an open loop for just a few seconds. I swapped that out, the thing runs great, and now all that's left is to put an AC compressor on it. I need to change a blend door on it, and that thing is ready to go all winter. But that's a good place to wrap this up. What do you guys think I should do with this old high mileage beater? You guys think I should put rockers on it, save it? You don't see a whole lot of clean trucks like this anymore. Or you think I should just kind of beat this for its remaining days? But I don't want to get it too nice. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about there, because I don't want to be all bent out of shape if it gets a scratch. And I think most of you guys that are watching, you don't really care what it is. We just like to see things get fixed up, saved, and back on the road into good use. So if you like videos like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.